Peace, love. So we are about to begin. And hey, loves, and we are live. We are live. Welcome in. This is All Things Self Mastery Show, All Things Self Mastery Podcast. I am your host and educator, Venus, Agoddess. I teach all things self mastery so you can learn the core and catalyst reasons as to why you do the things you do. So I give a psychological and a metaphysical standpoint as to why you do the things that you do so you can better align yourself with to attract what and who you desire. So this is what we're all about. So my YouTube family, welcome in. Make sure you drop a hey love hey in the comments. Say hi. I want to acknowledge you. If you're in TikTok land, which we already started streaming, hey, good evening, love. And if you are Facebook family, welcome in, welcome in. Many of you know me. I am Venus, a goddess, and I come to you at least once a week. Thank you so much for the follow, my love. I appreciate it. I come to you many a times. I come to you every week. Just sub on YouTube. What do you mean? What do you mean, love? Just sub on YouTube, DJ. Can you ask the question again so I can respond? It's All Things Self Mastery on YouTube. So I actually have a presentation. Many of you know I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, and a lot of times when I'm teaching and teaching on a self mastery lesson, no matter if it's dealing with emotional intelligence, no matter if it's dealing with universal principles and laws, metaphysics, a lot of times I have presentations because when you visually learn and digest and consume, it enhances what you hear. So it just makes the program, the new program, embed that much more stronger. So if you would like to see the presentation, we're going to be talking about the reasons why, even though there are multiple reasons we're going to be getting into, and I'm going to be sharing with you some of the reasons as to why you are powerless, why you're not manifesting what and who you desire, why you keep finding yourself in the same situations all the time. Hi, Bailey. How are you? Hey, love. Hey, I love it. Yes. I love the hey, love. Hey, because I am my love. You are my loves. We are love, right? We are the essence of love. And I'm so honored that you are here for the first time. You're in a treat. I just subscribed on YouTube. Oh, thank you so much. Infinite gratitude, right? We're growing. We're still growing. So infinite gratitude to you. I thank you and I appreciate you for that. So so I actually have a presentation. So if you want to stay here on TikTok, you're more than welcome to. But if you want to actually see the presentation, you are more than welcome to jump on over to YouTube, All Things Self Mastery, or you can click the link in my bio, and there's a tab that'll shoot you right on over to YouTube so you can view the presentation. And I like to get into it because I appreciate your space, your energy, and your quote unquote time as well as I do mine. So we're going to be talking about reasons why you are powerless. And I understand that a lot of us don't really don't really understand um certain things to the level in which they should. And I get it, right? Because we've all been programmed, we've all been forced to adopt and to quote unquote accept certain programs that were put in place systematically to keep us mentally enslaved. You understand? Mwah. Thank you so much for that. I love you. Pardon me. So I understand that a lot of these programs that we have were put in place systematically to keep us mentally enslaved, to keep us vibrating low, to keep us on this perpetual dysfunctional hamster wheel, right? But until you are willing to understand, until you energetically align yourself, nothing of what you need, all of what you need, right? Depending on the season that you are in, is going to come to you. Everything is energy, everything is alignment, everyone is energy, and it's all about alignment. So when I say the reasons why you are not powerless, right? It's not just about a term, it is not just about money. Money doesn't make you powerful. Materialistic possessions doesn't make you powerful. We're speaking on things mostly that are metaphysical, mostly that are spiritual, not just the physical, right? When it comes down to us better understanding that we are triune beings, right? This is what they kept from us, which is no secret right now. right? It's no mystery right now. Our sacred information, our sacred knowledge is no mystery to us right now. It's literally put right in front of us. Not only that, it was always embedded in us, it's in your very DNA. All of the sacred information is in your DNA. It's just most of us cannot tap into this power that I'm speaking of because we are not prepared, we're not ready, and we're definitely not in energetic alignment. So when I speak to, and I'm going to be, when it comes to me starting to discuss the reasons why you are powerless, this information is given to you so you can start changing the trajectory of your life, so you can at least start to take one step after the other, moving in the upward spiral instead of a downward spiral. It is absolutely imperative, especially if you desire to change, right? Even if you are comfortable, even if you are happy, even if you have not many complaints, right? I don't know anyone that's in their right mental that doesn't want more of whatever, and not only whatever and whoever, and not only that, one of our primary reasons as to being on this planet is to expand, is to evolve and elevate. That requires change. That requires transition. That requires wanting, needing something else, something different. Every level requires something different. However, if you're still operating on the tools that you currently have, how else are you going to build upon, add on, add to? It's no possible way. And when we have a better understanding of what energy is, what metaphysics is, what quantum physics is, when we better understand who we are as triune beings, part mental, part soul, spirit, and part physical. It's not just the physical part. Because when we simply rely on, when we simply just embody, when we simply just accept that we are physical beings and we operate only from a 3D realm, a 3D mentalism standpoint, we miss it. And what many of us don't really understand is that if you continually do that, you're going to continually devolve, which is why many of us are self-destructing, and it's being manifested in so many ways. So we don't know what we need to yet about how energy exchange work, how there's always a transfer of energies. We don't understand a lot of what we're consuming, right? A lot of what we're consuming is poisonous, and we're wondering why we're withering away. We're wondering why we're not in our God state mind. We're wondering why all of these things. Yes, yes, Jeep Girl. Welcome in, Web. So I always say you're going to do two things when you enter this realm. And before we get started, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much, DJ, for the likes. Only thing I ask is that, and I'll remind you when I think about it, is just to tap the screen, right? Because we're still dealing with the algorithm. We still want to let these systems know that, hey, this is a positive live, right? And so we still want to play our part in exchanging and giving, because what you give is what you get. So whenever you have an opportunity to give in small measures, baby, it can come back to you in a greater measure. So tapping is free, right? Tapping is free, and I definitely appreciate the gifts. So there's one thing that I always say to the individuals who I personally coach, whether on a personal level or a group and within group sessions in my All Things Self Mastery book club with my Rise of a Goddess virtual academy university for women. I always say you're going to do either two things when you enter this realm, when you come to a mature age, meaning when you come to the awareness and the realization that you are able and that you are making decisions on your own. Whatever the decision is, you're going to learn to do two things. You're either going to be mastered or you're going to master. And many of us think we are in control, and we're not. We're not as in control as we think we are. And I don't say that as a dig. I don't say that to shame. I say that so you can start putting certain things in perspective, so you can start reassessing where you are. Because a lot of us aren't where we were divinely purposed to be, no matter what season that you're in. You are so much more than this physical realm. You are so much more than an avatar. You're so much more than the materialistic things. You're so much more than just surface level things. Peace, peace, love. How are you, bro? King, how are you? We're so much more than that. But when you are neglecting certain aspects, when you are neglecting anything, I often say too, what you feed will gain power and what you starve will lose its power. Right. And I'll give an example. If you was a person that frequently goes to the gym, do you know what will happen if you only work your muscles on your right side of your body? Do you know what will happen when you only strengthen the right side of your body? Do you know what would happen if you only worked on your left glute or your right glute, hamstrings or your back on the right side? Guess what? Your left side will become weaker. And this is what's happening, and it's being manifested in different ways for many of us. We do not understand that because we are only exercising our physical aspect of who we are, we're only exercising the physical things of this realm. Our spiritual side is suffering. Our spiritual side is getting weaker. Our soulful side is getting weaker. Our mental side is getting weaker. And it's showing. Mwah. Thank you so much, love. It's showing and it's being manifested. Many of us, far too many of us, are self-destructing from the inside. We're self-destructing from the inside. And we're not really paying enough attention to what we're consuming because you become what you consume. It's okay to be entertained. Being entertained is okay. It's nothing wrong or unrighteous about wanting to have fun, wanting to live, wanting to enjoy yourself, wanting to play, wanting to engage, there's nothing unhealthy or wrong about that. However, there's a time, place, space, and a season for everything. And one thing you should not be playing with is your life because it is literally metaphysically destroying a lot of all that we could be, all the possibilities that could be afforded to us now. Even though our souls are infinite, we will never be unalive in the sense. We will never die. Never. You are infinite. You are infinite being. That is powerful beyond what you currently can mentally measure. Right? So self mastery is all about understanding a multitude of things, especially your triune essence, and not just what's on the surface. Not just what's on the surface, because what's on the surface isn't going to change. What happens externally does not happen first before it happens internally, right? What happened and what is happening externally is because what is happening internally. How many times or how much longer do we want to keep repeating the same things over and over with all due respect? Thank you so much, Rising Phoenix, for the follow. I appreciate you. With all due respect and with a sincere assessment and question, how long do we want to keep repeating the same unhealthy behaviors? Space, thank you so much for the rose. How long do we want to keep having the same conversations? How long do we want to keep blaming other people, places, and things? How long is it going to be his fault, her fault? How long is it going to be your mother's fault or your father's fault or the government's fault or the systematic's fault? How long is it going to be the fault of racism? Or how long is it going to be the fault of injustices? How long are you going to fault every person, place, or thing without first taking an introspection and to look at yourself? No one can force you. You say who, you say when, you say what, you say why, you say where and how. You have that. It is your inherent power. No one can violate that. You literally have to say yes, verbally or suggestively, to give someone else authority over your choices. So when it comes to the reasons, some of the reasons as to why we are not powerful, it is because we don't really understand what we need to when it comes to universal principles, the universal scale of balance and alignment. We are so far removed from our authentic, our original spiritual practices, all things that is righteous, all things that matters internally. You come from a long line of powerful men and women. You come from a long, royal, infinite line of men and women. We are so far removed from that. Do we not understand and see and hear the signs that are all around us? Do you not literally see the universe restructuring itself? Do you not see that nature is restructuring, reordering itself? Do you not understand the chaos that is going on is for divine reason? Do you not understand what's going on in the spiritual realm? Do you not understand all of these things, all of the people, places, and things that are literally crashing right before our presence? And if we are not careful to start being aware of the decisions that we're making, the people, places, and things that we're entertaining, that we're consuming, you're going to find yourself repeating the same life sentence. And I don't mean life sentence meaning behind bars. I mean the life sentence of the cycles of your spirit and your soul. Who in their right mind want to keep getting left back? Who? Because if you're not ascending, you're descending. So when it comes to universal laws and principles, you have to understand that they are the scale of balance. They are the scale of alignments, all of the things in which you do. There is no such thing without give and receive. There is no such thing without this or that. There is no such thing without one or the other. Right without wrong, righteous without unrighteous, up without down, left without right, masculine without feminine, positive without negative. There is no such thing. And when we have a deeper understanding of these things, hi, Culture, how are you, my love? We'll start to regain the power that we have. We begin to stand in that. That's just the one of the beautiful aspects about understanding and learning what self-mastery is and applying it. Not only that, you literally get to manifest and attract all and everything you want, need, and desire. Literally, I do it every day. I've seen others do it every day. You literally see here people doing it every day, because what we cannot wisely say is that the majority of these people, with the alleged 8+ billion people on this planet, even though I say alleged because we don't know the number, the exact number, but we do know there's a lot of souls on this planet. What we cannot say, and now right, when I say right, I mean righteous minds, is that all of them are capping. You cannot convince me that all of them are lying about living their best life. You cannot convince me that all of them are not robbing Peter to pay Paul. You cannot convince me that all of them are in despair. You cannot convince me that all of them are not living a life of the abundant things and opportunities you cannot convince me, which means what? It's absolutely possible. And there's not too many differences between you and them outside of they understand certain things, especially when it comes to universal principles and laws. Talking about the law of cause and effect, talking about the law of rhythm, the law of frequency, the law of correspondence, right? As above, so below, and everything in between. I'm talking about understanding that you have to start taking the steps to reprogram, right? In order to reprogram. When you understand these principles, you know that it is your thoughts, which is energy, which are electromagnetic magnetic signals and messages that reinterprets and influences how you feel, your emotions, and then it dictates your actions. And your actions is doing what? Creating the reality that most of us complain, bitch, and moan about living in. Come on, somebody. I mean, let's be completely honest. Be transparently honest. Jasmine, how are you, my love? I do what I do. Right? So we have to understand this. Thank you so much for the follow, my love. I appreciate you. Right? So we have to understand these principles, the law of divine oneness. Knowing that you are one with everything, we're just different expressions of that oneness. We are one with the divine, infinite source of creation. No matter if you call that whatever name, if you call it Buddha, if you call it Krishna, if you call it Allah, whatever you call that, what we cannot deny is that there is an infinite source of creation of all things above, below, and everything in between. And you are, and everything else is an expression of that. You are a part of the divine oneness, the first and most foundational law of the universe that has everything to do with you is divine oneness, right? We are interconnected. So anything that preaches and teaches separation when it comes to, right, everything that is divine, everything that is true, everything that is authentic, know that it is staring you away from tapping into the power that you need. Rosie, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Hey, Codified, how are you, my love? Right? The law of vibration. Everything is energy, everything you do. And sometimes, not all the time, sometimes it saddens me when I hear some of us say, oh, I'm matching energy. You go low, I'm going to hell. Do you not understand what you're doing to yourself? Do you not understand how you're cursing your life and the lives of your loved ones? Do you not understand how harder you're making your life? Do you not understand the messages that you're giving the universe? The universe don't care nothing about what you verbally speaking out as much as it cares about what you're implying energetically. Do you understand the messages? Do you understand what you're casting over your life? We say and we hear a lot about words of spells. Spells are what? Spoken. Spells are written. Do you not understand that? Everything can't be a joke. Your life, for one, should not be a joke. Your ascension should not be a joke. Your spirituality should not be a joke. Everything, there's always a transfer of something. Everything, no matter if it's minute or matter if it's grand, affects you in more ways than you are understanding. There are so many of us who are wearing the smile, who are making depression look fabulous. There are so many of us who are making weaknesses look fabulous. There are so many of us who are making disparity look fabulous. There are so many of us who are making loneliness and weakness look fabulous because we're smiling, we're laughing, we're dressing it up. But when you are home alone, when you are in the mirror looking at yourself, are you happy? Are you joyful? Are you blissful? Are you in gratitude? Are you happy? When you reassess your life, your day to day, are you even aware of what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it, where you're doing it, and especially why you're doing it? And not only that, how it's affecting you and how it's affecting those who we quote unquote say we love. How? When you're not taking the steps, you don't have to spend, and some of us are spending hours upon hours upon hours, infinite energy, right? On people, places, and things that is only hurting you. But when it comes to you sticking around for 15, 20 minutes, even 60 minutes minimum, to actually educate yourself to better understand the core why, not the surface level why, the core why. Ask why to you, why do you keep entertaining certain things, right? Why do you keep entertaining certain conversations? Why do you think it's okay for you to shame people? Why do you think it's okay for you to act one way in front of people and then act another way in front of another set of people? Why do you think you get so much pleasure in somebody else's pain? Why do you think you backstab? Why do you think it's okay for you to do that? Why do you think it's okay for you to be selfish when you don't need to be or should be? Right? Why do you think it's okay for you to be unintelligent, unwise, unauthentic, dishonorable? Do you think nobody knows or paying attention? Do you not think that everything you do is not going to have an effect? Everything you cause is an effect. So if you want if you want to see different effects, if you want to experience different effects, you have to be the cause of those different effects. Otherwise, it's more of the same thing. Energy is the fundamental concept in physics. And you have to understand this. You have to understand the sciences. You are science. Every genuine divine philosophy, concept, that is organic, that is original, came from your bloodline, came from the infinite source of creation in which you are part of. There's no reason we still should be deaf, dumb, blind, and docile. There's no reason we still should be powerless. There are not really great reasons as to why we are not operating in that power. There's no reason, good enough reasons as to why we keep tearing each other down, why you keep tearing yourself down. Because you are me. I am you. We are we. We are attached and connected to everything in nature. We're connected to every insect. We're connected to every animal. We're connected to every bird. We're connected to every tree. We're connected to the water. We are all of these things, and yet we treat things in such dishonorable and disgusting ways. And do you really think that that's not going to come back? What they say, what goes around comes around. We say it, we speak it, right? We hear it, but then it's not really impacting us. Why do you need to hit such devastating lows for you to finally be like, you know what? I need to at least take the first step in elevating. I need to at least be transparently honest with myself that if I keep going along this path, it ain't going to end me. No, it ain't going to lead me nowhere where I want to be desired to be. It ain't going to be good for me, and it ain't going to be good for my children. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. We know this. It is simply infinite. You are simply infinite. There's nothing, literally nothing that you cannot do, that you cannot attract and manifest. Nothing. It's just somewhere along the lines, we've become so conditioned, right? We've become such puppets. And when you're being truthfully honest with yourself, you want to know who's mastering you, who's controlling your mind, who's controlling your behaviors, even if it's your lower nature. You want to know these things because you cannot create a blueprint without having the information and the skills to do so. You cannot go somewhere that you are unaware of. It's literally impossible. And every decision you make not to invest, I understand everybody is not going to do the same thing. I do understand everybody is not going to do the same thing. I do understand that. More importantly, I understand that if we all are living infinite beings, right? Your primary function, your primary purpose, whatever you want to call it, right? However you're going to receive it, is to elevate and expand. So what that tells me is that even though it all not going to arrive at the same train station at the same time and may get on the same train station, we are all invited to the station. We're all invited to the destination. The destination is the goal. And what I mean by destination, I mean ascending and not descending, moving forward instead of backward. That's what I mean. So none of us can deny that. That's an indisputable fact, right? It's our choices. We literally, we choose to go forward or go backwards. We choose to not do or do. We choose to move or stand, what most of us think is called still. We choose to do these things. Your words of wisdom holds value and very important to me. Ashe, as do yours. How you doing, Spirit? Right? So we have to understand these things because it matters. Where is your energy going? Where your energy goes, your energy grows. Your habits grow. Your habits create your habitat. What you feed will gain power, and what you starve will lose its power. So when it comes to the relations that we not only have with ourselves, you have to understand the relationship, right? The catalyst of the relationship that you have with everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. What you consume, you become. What and who are you consuming? And you can tell that by where where your focus is going. You can tell that with by taking an assessment of the way your reality is. How many of us are complaining and bitching and moaning about our lives? How many of us? We hear it all the time. We're not happy, we're miserable. This world is ugly. This world is ugly, right? Nature is ugly. It's the rain is ugly. It's miserable. My home life is miserable. We're constantly talking about all the things that we don't want. What are you doing when you do that? You're energetically feeding it. That's what you're doing. I said what you feed will gain power and what you starve will lose power. What do you think you're doing every time you open your mouth? What do you think you're doing every time you think something? What do you think you're doing when you actually act upon something? You have a relationship with everything in your life. Everything. A relationship with everything that you've done, doing, and will continue to do. Awareness. Where are you? When is the last time you sat down with yourself or invested in a mentor that can actually help you? Reassess where you are so you can create a new blueprint so you can now focus your attention where it should be going versus where it should not be going no longer. Because right now, where it's going for many of us, right, isn't helping us. Mental programs, right? What are you telling the universe to give you more of? What are you magnetizing to attract? You attract according to what you're magnetizing. So when I say the magnet, your heart is the magnet that draws things to you. And I speak a lot about brain and heart coherence. Your thoughts, your neurotransmitters, your signals, they are messages. They are signals to this God concept that we're speaking about, to the universe where everything is sent from. We're talking about the quantum realm. Your heart, the frequency of your heart is what pulls those things in. It works like an infinite cycle. What you think is what you attract. Your heart. So if you ever want to have a deeper understanding as to why you keep attracting the same people, places that you're attracting, if you ever wondering why your circumstances aren't changing, but getting worse and harder. If you ever wonder why you keep finding yourself in the same place week after week, month after month, year after year, right? Decade after decade, century after century, you have to understand that whatever is in your heart is pulling that to you and more towards you. And the more you think a thing, the more you receive a thing. And when you feed it enough, you are then on an infinite cycle. That's where the programs happen. So you have a relationship and an association with money that is going to determine how you get money, how you keep money, how you cultivate money, how you spend money. Your perception and perspective on money is determined by the relationship you have with money. And most of us don't have a healthy relationship with money, right? One, because we never seen it in our personal lives. There was not too many personal, close encounters with the experiences, right? So then guess what? Now you're constantly playing ping pong with money and it's only energy. It comes, it goes, it comes, it goes, it comes and goes. I had a psychiatrist, psychologist too, that I'm just like, listen, I'm teaching you more than you teaching me. How is that? And I'm supposed to be the one in despair. I'm supposed to be the one that's deeply depressed. However, remember, I speak about universal principles and laws. There can be no one without the other. Everything that I ever been through, I was purposed to go through because I needed it for my journey. I don't discount or regret anything that I've been through, even though, baby, there was some times, okay? There's some times that made my knees buckle. However, I don't discount it because it will be damn hard for you to be able to relate to someone as effective. How can I tell you how something tastes if I haven't tasted it and digested it myself? The relatability ain't there. How can you ever truly understand to the capacity, especially if you are trying to help me or guide me or share with me with that experience? How can you do it? Reading books just don't do it. It's the part of it. So yes, when I have tasted the bitterness of pain, when I have tasted the bitterness of suffering, when I have tasted the bitterness of lack, when I have understood it, right? When I went deep inside of it to the depths of it, when I overcame them, yes, I can tell you how it tastes, how it feel. I can tell you the variations, right? I can relate all of that. Yeah, a lot of what we went through, right? I always say, and I know nothing happens by happenstance or coincidence. Nothing. Nothing. For when you have a deeper understanding of the things that I'm teaching, which you will, I speak that. You know that there's no such thing as luck, happenstance, or coincidence. Everything that happens for a divine reason. And you play a huge part in that. You play a huge part in that. Because let me tell you something. What I realized when I made the decision to be the victor and not the victim, I had to realize that some of them situations I put myself in. Some of them situations I called upon myself. And something you have to understand when it comes to manifesting an attraction, when it comes to the way your reality is framed, when it comes to the way your reality is manifested, you start to understand that the universe doesn't play perspective. The universe doesn't have the mindset that we have. The universe doesn't play favoritism. The universe does not differentiate from what's good for you and from what's bad for you subjectively. The universe doesn't really understand that language of this is healthy for me, this is unhealthy for me. It only understands frequency, and it can be a high frequency or a low frequency. And guess what? You're going to get whatever you're dishing out. You're going to get whatever you're dishing out. You're going to get whatever is coming to you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts or escapisms. So whether you know it or not, you cannot escape the universal law. Specifically, the one of them that I love the most is cause and effect. I'll give you a really short example before we continue in this lesson. Some reasons why you are powerless. I became a young mother. I didn't know everything I needed to know about being a mother. I didn't know everything I needed to know about universal laws and principles. I didn't know of everything I needed to know at that time, right? What happens when you have sex? I didn't know everything that I needed to know, right? I knew surface level foundational things like, hey, if you have sex, you can potentially have a baby. If you have sex, you can potentially get a disease, right? If you have sex with someone, right, you can potentially have all of these different things and endure all of these different dynamics, right? Shanika, thank you so much for the follow, right? I didn't have a deeper understanding of that, but guess what? Despite my ignorance, right, which we're all ignorant to a degree, right? It's the willful ignorant that I don't care for, right? But we're all ignorant to a degree. However, when I'm giving this example just to show you that universal laws and principles applies to us all, and it does not understand the way we mentally understand in this 3D realm. It only responds to frequency. And when I was having sex, I was emitting a frequency. And because I understand higher things, because I know that no soul is portaled here without divine reason, that's one aspect. Another aspect is just because I didn't know did not mean that I was excluded from the law of cause and effect. It did not know. I said yes to sex. What is that considered? That's a cause. My action caused me to agree with something, right? Even though I didn't know in depth the effects of it, guess what came with it? A child. So it does not matter whether you know or don't know. It does not matter as much when it comes to the law of cause and effect, universal principles, as much as you need to understand them. Because if you are aware of them, you can make better choices. You can make wiser choices, not only for you, but for your loved ones. So I get that we have to reprogram, and I teach a course on mental reprogram. I get that we're so accustomed and used to thinking how we think, acting how we act, behaving, reacting how we react. I get it, but at what point are you going to take genuine responsibility and accountability to say, you know what? I played a part in everything and everything I've been through. Especially when you came to the avatar in the mental age of that, you're now able to make decisions. Even babies make decisions. Toddlers make decisions. Adolescents, young people make decisions. More mature, you've always made decisions, and there's always going to be cause and effect. So if you keep going on the path that you're going on, you're going to be getting the continually get the same effects because you're not causing anything different, right? So you have to understand the relationship that you have with money. You have to understand the relationship you have with love, right? You can only elevate as high as your mental capacity, your mental programming. And guess what? If your mental programming is only here, this is where you're going to raise and no higher. But once you start investing in education and expanding, once you start gaining higher conscious awareness, once you start allowing yourself to mature and grow and elevate, guess what? You start having a higher awareness. You start having an advantage point, a bird's eye view instead of a tunnel view. So not only are you seeing from here, when you raise, you're seeing from everywhere, right? That's power. That's true power. It's not about dissolving your ego. It's not about getting rid of your ego. It's not about getting rid of your pride. Remember, there is no one without the other. It's about harmony. It's about balance. There is no one without the other. But a lot of us speak like that. I want to be happy. I want to be joyful. I want this. I want that. You want all the good without the bad. You want all the joy without the sorrow. You want all the ups without the downs. It is impossible. It doesn't work that way. And the quicker you learn that, the more you become open and willing to embrace it. Right? So you have to understand the relationship you have with health. You have to understand the relationship you have with family. What's your perspective on family? What's your perspective on abundance? Because most of you attach abundance to money or more of what you want, need, and or desire, not understanding that you are already operating in abundance. You are already operating in abundance. Most of us just have an abundance of more of what we don't want, need, on desire versus what we actually do want, need, and or desire. You're already operating in abundance. You just have to gain the information that you need, because you cannot create new behavior patterns without new information. Unless you change the program isn't going to change. You have to reprogram the program. It is the only way. Unless you're comfortable with defeat, unless you're comfortable and content with being mastered and being controlled and being led astray and being blown with every wind that whistles, unless you're comfortable being a follower all the time, unless you're comfortable not being able to operate and stand in your own decision-making processes, unless you're comfortable with being acceptable, unless you're comfortable, but by all means, continue. You have to understand the relationship you have with all of these things, how you associate with these things. And if how you associating with these things isn't healthy, then you need to broaden your perspective on your association. You need to move from here to there, because you just thinking about moving there. You just thinking about being there. You're just speaking about getting there. You're never going to get there unless you actually take the steps to get there. Because most of you are under the misconception that things just stand still. Nothing stands still. Energy is ever in motion. There is literally no such thing as standing still. Being at peace, calm, balance, harmony, yes, but there's no such thing as standing still. So, meanwhile, you think you're in the same place, you're not. You're either going to do two things: you're going to evolve or devolve. You're going to ascend or descend. You're going to be moving up or you're going to be moving down. You're going to be moving right or you're going to be moving left. You're going to be moving forward or you're going to be moving backwards. So you keep thinking that you enjoy or good with being content. Everything is always moving, everything is always in motion. Hence energy and motion, but this is not the master class for that. So you have to understand how you associate with things. You have a relationship with everything. Start gaining the information that you need to better understand the relationship you not only with your health, not only have with yourself, but the relationship you have with love, the relationship you have with relationships, the association, well, the associations that you have, and the relationships that you have with, from tying your shoe, the way you speak, the way you think, the way you chew, the way you dance, the way you sing, the way you move, the way you get dressed, the way you choose, right? The way you say yes, the way you communicate, all of these things, you have a relationship and you are associated within a certain dynamics. Yeah, your life can seem like it's standing still. It can seem like that, especially when you're only looking at it through these perspective, through these reflectors, right? The only way you can understand is by going within, right? But if we only rely on our physical attributes, we only stay there, right? That's where we're going to stay. We're not going to move from that. So, boss lady, thank you so much for the follow. So it may seem like you're standing still, right? It may seem like this mic right here. It may seem like this mic is still. It's not. It may seem, I mean, you see me moving and vibrating, but everything is vibrating around you. Everything. So even though it may seem like you see a plant in your home or a picture on the wall, it may seem like this canvas, this flower canvas is still. It's not. It's moving, it's vibrating. However, you do not realize and understand it and are aware of it and cannot see. You don't see with these eyes, you see with this eye, and it's more of a sensing. You only reflect these things. You only reflect what's in here. So if your mindset is limited, guess what? Your perception, your perspective, and your associations is going to be. Right? All of these things have everything to do with you. And I'm not saying you have to be a philosopher of all of these things, but you sure need to know a little bit about these things because it has everything to do with you and everything to do with the way your reality is created. You are not just a physical being, you are a triune being. There is no such thing as masculine, 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 feminine, feminine, feminine. There is balance, there's harmony. You are spirit, soul, mental, and physical. You are triune. Your spiritual self is the infinite, most beautiful and powerful form in essence of who you are. And we forget that because we're too busy thinking that we're the avatar. We're too busy that we're just the vehicle. This is not really you. This is a part of you. Your makeup, your physical physique, your chemistry, your biology is just a part of you. That's not where your power lies. Your power lies within. Do you know that your thoughts can make you sick? Your thoughts can make you sick. So if your thoughts can make you sick, your thoughts can also heal. If your thoughts can bring destruction, right? Your thoughts can also bring creation. If your thoughts can bring disorder, your thoughts can also bring order. If your thoughts can create and manifest imbalance, guess what? It can also create balance. However, you have to understand and start to operate from all facets and parts of your essence. This is not where your power is. It's inside you. We're not working the muscle. We're not feeding it. We're feeding more of things that are purposed to cause us weakness, right? If you're always depressed, if you're always feeling down, if you're always experiencing some type of anxiety, it is a chemical imbalance. That's all it is. And once you understand these things, you'll start to regulate. You start to take control, be in power. Your body should not be controlling you. You should be controlling it. People, places, and things should not be controlling you or dictating to you what you should be doing, who you should be doing it with, where you decide to be doing it, how you decide to do it, why you decide to do. No one else should be dictating that besides you. Who are you? I can tell you who you wasn't purposed to be. You wasn't purposed to be nobody's slave. You wasn't purposed to be nobody's doormat. You wasn't purposed to be nobody worker bee. You wasn't purposed to work for, but work with. You wasn't purposed to be codependent, but interdependent and dependent to certain degrees. You wasn't purposed to just operate in your lower nature. You wasn't purposed to act like animals. You wasn't purposed to bring shame and dishonor. You wasn't purposed to vibrate as low as we vibrate. You wasn't purposed to crucify your brother and your sister. You wasn't purposed to live in unrighteousness. You wasn't purposed to live and thrive and be boggled down by depression, anxiety, and dysfunction, to be deaf, dumb, and blind. I can tell you that. I can definitely tell you that. However, it is still ultimately and will always be your choice. There's always an energy exchange. There's always a flow of energy. You dictate the current of it. You dictate the current of it. So if you don't like the current, change the circumstances. If you don't like the current, change the cause. However, you changing the cause require you to know and learn information. And then not only that, how to apply it. Because there's a many of us who speak things that are sacred. We speak things that are profound. We speak. Do y'all get what I'm doing? Speak. I know I'm not pointing to my mouth. You got to catch the subliminals. Because this is where you're speaking from. This is where you're speaking from. Right? There's always an energy exchange. From one thing to another, one person to another. When the energy exchange between two people is coherent in nature, the energy field is amplified. We're not powerful, operating in our power. One, because we lack knowledge. Hence the title of this evening's masterclass: reasons why we are not powerful and we are powerless. Right? Because you do not understand how frequency and vibration works. You do not understand that as yet. I'll say that. I'll put that out there. Right? Because your aura field is so weak and penetrable. So weak and penetrable. Right? Let me use this as an example. Let me show y'all something. This is how some of our aura feels. Every time there's an attack, every time there's a systematic injustice, every time there's a roadblock, every time that there's an arrow of depression thrown our way, an arrow of dysfunction thrown our way, an arrow of discourse thrown our way, an arrow of misinformation thrown our way, guess what? It's going to hit us every time. It's going to hit you every time. And the more holes you have in your aura field, the weaker you are. But let me tell you something. When you start to gain the information that you have, when you start feeding your mind, feeding your body with nutriment and not poison, guess what? When those arrows start to come, baby, where they going? When those arrows of of depression start coming, where they going? When them people start coming into your life to bring you down, where they going? They're not penetrating you. It's not affecting you. You're aware of it. You feel it. You feel them trying, but it's not controlling you. It's not affecting you. When them arrows come to tell you you can't, and you know you can, when them arrows of dysfunction, depression, anxiety, weakness, loneliness, powerlessness, guess what, baby? They ain't touching you. They're not. You see how hard it is for me to kind of poke through this. But why? Because I started feeding my greatness. I started feeding my mind. I started feeding my soul. I started feeding and consuming right information. I started feeding the right information. I started consuming things that were beneficial to me. And guess what? Every time I made the decision to do that, I empowered, I strengthened my aura field. I strengthened it. So anyone, anything that is against righteousness, that is against you from ascending, guess what? It ain't gonna knock you down. You may feel a little ouch, but it ain't gonna penetrate you. It's not gonna penetrate you. Strengthen your auras. Strengthen your force field. Yes, it's recorded. Hey, AH. It's going to be recorded. It's going to be uploaded on my YouTube channel, All Things Self Mastery. Right? You have to understand that. But that doesn't, everything you do, every decision you make is, every decision and everything you do affects your aura field. Every decision, no matter how minute or how grand, no matter if it's on a micro scale or if it's on a micro scale, every decision you make, everything you think, everything you speak, every action you take, every conversation you engage with, every argument you entertain, every person you entertain, every step you take backwards, every step you take forward, everything that you do determines your force field. It determines how strong or weak it is, how healthy or unhealthy it is. It determines whether you ascend or descend. Every decision, every decision. And most of us are just haphazardly making these decisions, right? We talk about being responsible and being accountable. For what? For what? How are you preaching and teaching about accountability when you're not accountable and responsible for yourself? How you speak about honesty when you lie to yourself? How you speak about integrity when you have none? How do you speak about honor when you have none? Or you pick and choose when you want to have and don't have, or who you want to honor or who you don't? How can you speak about respect when you pick and choose who and when and how you want to respect? You don't have it yourself. You don't get what you don't give. And I can tell what a lot of you are because I can see what you're giving. You can see what you're giving. You know what you're giving, but it's a joke. How can you be so comfortable smiling in somebody's face and then talking shit behind their back? How can you be comfortable in that? How can you be so comfortable in shaming someone? How can you be in your bliss shaming someone? Talk about integrity, talk about accountability. How can you teach intelligence when you lack it? A fool can read a book. Even a fool can have an understanding of a book. Right? Wisdom is a whole entirely different thing. Righteousness is a whole entirely different thing. You can still teach and educate without shaming one another, without crucifying one another. Right? Many of y'all don't have a clue that you're being deceived and unrighteously manipulated and led astray. Because you're too busy. You're too busy jumping on every bandwagon because the wheels have your favorite color. And you don't even realize that is causing your very own destruction. Energy is always reciprocal. It's always reciprocal. Don't you want to grow? Don't you want to evolve? Don't you want to develop? Right? Don't you want to stop doing the same things over and over and over and over and over and over? Right? There's always a reciprocation of energy. You must have been in my house this morning because how you hitting upside. Listen, that's what it takes. Being transparently honest with yourself is the first key in gaining higher awareness. It is the first key in self-mastery, which is awareness. And that only happens when you're transparently honest with yourself. And a lot of us, Kimmy got bars. How are you, my love? How you doing, honey? Thank you so much. Far too many of us are so unrighteous. We're disgusting. And you want to keep being the victim. You want to keep blaming other people, places, and things, and you're jumping on these bandwagons, not even knowing how it's destroying you. Why would you, in your right mind, jump under the umbrella of so many things in this society? Why would you continually do that? I mean, that's rhetorical because I do know. Why do you want to be a feminist? Why do you want to jump under the umbrella of this 4B movement? Beautiful, infinite, divine, feminine souls. Why do you want to jump on this bandwagon of what do they call in the 4B for men? We're in our soft era. Why do you want to? Why? You should ask yourself, what is it going to profit you? It's foolish and it's stupid. You can't separate yourself from yourself. He is you. She is you. We are we. Nothing in nature stands alone. What in the world are we doing? What? Because what you really won't admit is that you still hurt, broke, and broken. So men disappointed you so much. Men hurted you, have caused so much hurt and pain. And I'm not saying that they didn't. I'm not saying that that some things aren't irrelevant. I'm not saying that certain experiences did not take place. What I'm saying is that you are continually choosing to live in your victimship instead of making a choice to be the victor. Don't you know you just telling on yourself? Man, this. He ain't incapable of this. He won't do this. He will do this. He just this and he just that. She just this and she just that and she won't do. So you date men because it's all about how they broke you. Now you date women and now you having the same issues with the women. Who's the common denominator? Who's the common denominator? Because at one point it was just all men. And on another point, it's all women. And now you come to the conclusion that what is both? Never you, though. Never you, though. You're not going through anything, right? You ride the cloud, right? You ride the cloud, you ride the wave. It's never you because you're so intelligent, right? You're so wise. You've read some books every now and again, right? You know about different sciences and philosophies and principles. You have experience, and I don't take that away from you, right? I don't take that away from you. However, energy is reciprocal. There's always a reciprocation because the only thing you're doing is telling on yourself, right? What goes up will come down. What goes left will eventually come right. Everything is a harmonious balance in its infinite state, right? And so many of you are so easily swayed. What we call it, trauma bonding, right? So at one point you crucified men. Now you're crucifying women. I mean, what is it? What is it? And then it's the same repetitive conversations, the same stories. Just because you have information, just because you are intellectual and intelligent, just because you can articulate certain things, just because you are charismatic, don't make you righteous. It don't make you wise. There's a difference in all of those things. How can you say that you are righteous and you're crucifying men or women? How can you say you're intelligent when you're crucifying men or women? When you don't know that both men and women are not just biological, don't just run on chemistry. How can you speak of all of these things and in the same breath talk about desensitizing them? How? How can you speak about metaphysics and say you understand metaphysics and all of these infinite sciences and then speak separation in the same breath? That lets me know that you don't know as much as you think you know. And you're leading a whole lot of people astray. It's going to happen for you. You just got to invest in yourself and say yes. If you're ever interested, I am a self-mastery mentor. If you're led to, many of you who know me, I don't promote these things all the time. It is what it is. If you ever ready and willing to take that next step and start living a new story, I'm going to teach you how to tell the new story so you can live it. I will mentor you if you're ready, willing to invest in yourself. You can click the link in my tree and see all of the things that I have. I have a Rise of Agoddess, right? Virtual university exclusively for women. I have an All Things Self Mastery book club that we're going over the Kabbalion, that I'm giving you deep information. So it's not just words you're reading. What good is you reading the book if you don't have a deeper understanding, understanding, overstanding of it? You can read all the books in the world and still be deaf, dumb, blind, and foolish, all at the same time, right? It is really time out for us to keep playing with our lives. And this whole concept of matching energy, if you knew what you should know at this point in life, at what some people call your grown age, your whole grown age, you would not be boasting and bragging and playing about, oh, I match energy. When you go low, I go to hell. When they go low, I go lower. When they get cold, I go to Iceland. Don't you know how foolish that is? Arguing, going back and forth, lowering your frequency, matching energy, especially if it's negative. If anything, why don't you match something positive? Why don't you match education? Why don't you match developing? How about you match that energy? How about you match healthy conversations instead of toxic ones? How about you match being mature instead of being petty? It is not cute saying, oh, I'm the queen of petty. Yeah, very sarcastically, I'm saying that. That's not cute. That's not cute. It's not productive. It ain't healthy. Okay? You should not be the queen of petty. That's foolish. Tit for tat, tat for tit, tap, 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 tip, tip, tip. Back and forth with foolish shit. Don't you know it keeps going? Hatred, animosity, revenge. It keeps going. Like it never ends until you end it. What is it serving you? And how is it affecting you when you keep going low as they go low? Right? When you're degrading, remember the frequency of energies, right? When you're being constantly low vibrational, negative, do you not understand the why or the causes of the reasons as to why you love arguing with people, claiming you just sharing your perspective and you right and they're wrong? Do you even have an inkling of an understanding of why you keep running back to vomit? Why you keep consuming the poison other than it's an addiction? Negativity is often the product of depression and insecurity. That's what it stems from, right? Peace, El Cole Ma'at. How are you? Love, peace, and bliss. divine, beautiful beings. I totally understand and agree with your divine. Ashe, infinite gratitude, love. I appreciate you being here. Right? Do you not know what you're doing? Do you not know what, other than making yourself look foolish, other than making yourself look immature, other than making yourself look completely weak and disempowered, you have deeply rooted insecurities and depression. Deeply rooted insecurities and depression. Another reason why we are another reason as to the causes of why we keep attracting negativity, why we keep engaging, is it can stem from mental illnesses, right? Your environment. Everything is frequency, everything is energy. Your environment absolutely matters. The environment in your home, the environment in your workplace, the environment in the places that you choose to engage and entertain. Your environment plays a huge part in a lot of things that has everything to do with you, right? If you don't remember any of the universal laws and principles that I teach as we come to be continued, I never say it end because nothing ever ends and nothing ever begins. It just is, right? Ashe. So as we come to a completion for this evening, one of my most profound and subjects that I love teaching on as a self-mastery mentor is the principle of cause and effect. Everything. Everything. Thank you so much for the follow, my love. Cinnamon roll. That's cute. Right? Everything is cause and effect. So you keep laughing and you keep playing and you keep thinking this is a joke. You keep thinking your life is a joke. You keep thinking you just you keep being unaware of the way you speak. You keep thinking, you keep being unaware of what you're doing if you want to, right? The causes of most negativity, I dare to say the majority, it manifests itself in different ways. And one of them, and a few of those ways I'm going to mention, cynicism. So many of us have a general distrust of people and their motives, right? But it's not so much of you having a distrust with people and their motives. You have a distrust with yourself and your motives. It's not that you don't trust others. You don't trust yourself. Because when you trust yourself on all levels, you trust other people to do exactly what they do without taking it personal, without being vindictive and contrite and holding contempt. If you trust yourself, a lot of us don't trust people because you don't trust your decision making amongst those people. Right? So it's not that you don't trust them, you don't trust you. And you don't get what you don't give. You don't attract what you are not. So this is why a lot of us, we have these conversations by, oh, every man I attract, I can't trust him or her. All the women I attract, they prove to me that they are not trusting. Not only do you keep telling the universe to keep giving you mistrusting and distrusting and backstabbing men and women, right? That's the frequency that you're vibrating on. What else do you expect? What else do you expect to manifest when you keep telling the same stories? The stories you repeat are the stories you continually live. You want to repeat a different story, start telling a different story. The stories you repeat are the stories you continually live. We're still talking about cause and effect as it pertains to some reasons why you are not powerful and powerless, right? Hostility, unfriendliness toward others. Some of us are just hostile and unfriendly. People don't have to do nothing to you, but you're so damn hostile and always on guard, always in defense, always in warrior and fight mode when there's no fight outside of the fight within. Who are you fighting? Who are you fighting? You're not fighting with others as much as you're fighting with yourself. Stop fighting yourself. Stop fighting yourself. The more you say you can't trust is the more people are going to come into your life and cause you to distrust them. The more you keep saying these things, the more you're going to keep attracting them. It's like telling the universe, give me more pain, send me more pain. I want more destruction. I want people to stroke my victim mentality. I don't want more money. I don't want more money. I don't want divine love. I don't want healthy relationships. I don't want to build healthy relationships. Because you keep bitching, moaning, and complaining and conversating about everything you don't want. They do this, they do this, everything you don't want. They lie, they cheat, they scam, they use, they abuse. Do you not know that there are healthy people in this life? Do you not know that there are men and women, but let me slow down. I'll just keep it there. Do you not know that there are women and men that are in relationships, even women and women, even men and men, even though I don't condone certain things, but there are people in healthy relationships that genuinely, divinely love each other, respect each other, honor each other, hear one another, know how to conflict resolve with one another, don't hit below the belt. They experience and elevate and evolve with one another. They move in through and out of the seasons of life together in a healthy way. You know the difference between you and them are your mindset and your conversation. How do you expect to attract the man or woman you want to attract, you really want to attract, if you keep talking trash about them? If you keep speaking so negatively and being so pessimistic? Guys, Debbie and Downer. Everything is, you don't see the silver lining, the sun is shining, you ain't hot, you don't see no glory, no bliss, no happiness, no hopefulness, and nothing. You hopeless instead of being hopeful. And you're choosing. People don't love you the way you want them to love you because you inwardly don't love yourself. People don't put their trust in you the way you want them to or should and protect you because you don't love and protect yourself. People disregard and tremble on your boundaries because you either don't have them or don't stand firm on them, but you want somebody else. Come on now. Let's get real. Polarized thinking. The belief that something or someone is not perfect just because they don't fit in your scope of reality. Right? Cause and effect. Negativity. The blaming, the shaming. It's everybody else but you. It's everything else but you. So which one is it? Are you in power? Are you powerless? Are you in control of your life or aren't you? Do you control? Do you dictate your actions? Because saying anything else suggests that you are powerless and that you are a puppet. Suggesting and implying that you do what you do because he's doing this, she's doing that, they're doing that. It's the system's fault. It's the government fault. It's the Illuminati's fault. It's the industry fault. It's hip hop fault. It's TikTok fault. It's social media fault. Do you not know what you're saying? That do you not energetically know that what you're implying, that you're weak? Because someone that's in power, they don't talk like that. They don't act like that. They don't move like that. That's not within their being. That's the difference between someone in power and someone disempowered. Okay? The powerful takes responsibility and accountability, even when we take steps back, even when we fall and we get tripped up. Oh, listen, I tripped up, I tripped over that. Let me do something about it. But the disempowered and powerless saying, why the hell was that rock there? God damn it, it's that rock fault. I tripped because of that rock. No, you tripped because you wasn't looking. You tripped because you wasn't paying attention. You tripped because you wasn't aware of your surroundings. You tripped up because you're so reactive instead of responsive. Okay? There's a difference between being powerful and powerless. And eventually, you're going to have to choose. Okay? Being loud, wrong, and strong don't make you powerful. Having money don't make you powerful. Right? It don't make you powerful. True power comes within. And when you're powerful, you don't have to tremble on people. You don't have to you don't have to shame other people. You don't have to boast about your power. You don't have to brag about it. It speaks for you. Hi, Beatrice. How are you, my love? It speaks for you without you uttering anything. There are not many rooms that I've ever walked in, in my 40 plus cycles around this beautiful sun in this lifetime, that I never commanded the room. My presence, my persona always spoke for me. It didn't matter how I dressed, even though I always cared and paid attention and presented myself with respect, with honor, integrity, and like I had some sense, like I actually came from royalty. It was always my presence, right? And oftentimes it got misinterpreted saying, oh, I was intimidated. Only because you didn't understand how to conceptualize divine power, frequency, and force without it being forceful. Baby, I don't have to I don't have to tell you you're going to respect me. You just are. And if you aren't, me and you, we can't vibrate in the same atmosphere. It's just as simple as that. You don't have to demand what you command. There is a difference. Only those in power command. Only those who are disempowered demand. I demand this. I demand you do that. I demand. Command it and stand firm in it. That's how you get there. Not blaming, right? Taking accountability. All of these things are affecting you. It's like a domino effect. Every decision you make is like a domino effect. Every decision. Thank you so much, love. I appreciate you. Everything you do is like a domino effect. Everything, my loves. Right? And so even though this presentation has a few more, it just has a few more slides. That is what we have, right? I am the type of mentor that when I get into teaching, I really want to teach, right? And if I feel the spirit is moving me, the universe is moving me in a particular way, thank you so much. That's where I'm going to flow, because each and every one of you are here for a divine reason. So there are some things that I said that were specifically for you. And there were some things that I said that were specifically for us as a whole. I know that. I don't believe that. I know that. However, I also pay attention and aware of time. I am here every Friday or Saturday. If you want to receive a notification when I come live and teach, okay, you are more than welcome to text MOS, that stands for Masters of Self, to 1833. Can someone put this in the chat for me? Text MOS to 1833 996 3032. That's text MOS to 1833 996 3032. If you are in YouTube land, the text is going across the screen in a ticker, so you can get the text message. Thank you so much, Goddess, for the follow. That number again is 1833 996 3032. Text MOS to that number, and you will receive a notification when I do present. It is at least once a week. Sometimes I do exclusive lives, but at least once a week I'm coming before you and I'm teaching you all things self-mastery, to include attracting, manifesting, energy, alignment, universal laws and principles, the deeper understanding of relationships, even, right? The dynamics of healthy relationships, unhealthy relationships, forging new relationships. We talk about divine sensuality, sexuality, femininity, masculinity, not in the way that people are talking, others are talking about it, not in that way. I come from an internal perspective, right? So I teach on emotional, all these things I teach on, and it's always going to be, most times there are new teachings and new lessons that I actually have for you. If you are in All Things Rise of a Goddess book club, remember that we meet tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which if you are a part of the book club, you will receive the notification. We are covering still covering the Kabbalion. We haven't gotten through it yet. Is really good. Thank you, Vera. Oh, infinite gratitude. I appreciate you. So this is what we do. So any of you who are new to me, welcome. Thank you so much for being a part of the family, and congratulations on taking a step forward. Right? Because you literally had to choose to be here, even though you were purposed to be here. You could have chosen to be somewhere else, but this is where you need to be. It's not by luck, happenstance, or coincidence. I'm Venus, a goddess. I've been teaching, for those of you who are new, I've been teaching self-mastery and mentoring and coaching for 15 plus years now, right? And I've been extremely helpful to other people. I would say successful, but I like to be different. I've been extremely helpful, um, and teaching others. Thank you so much, user. I appreciate the gifts, and helping others how to learn how to master self. So they not only can master self, they can master their reality, therefore attracting what and who they desire, not only for them, but for their generation, for their children, for their loved ones. It is incredibly important. It all starts with you. It all starts with you. It starts with you. It continues with you, right? It starts and continues with you always. So you are responsible for those decisions. And so I thank all of you so very much for being here. Infinite gratitude, infinite love, peace, and divine enlightenment to you all. I appreciate all of the gifts. I appreciate all of the taps. I appreciate your participation. I appreciate the love and the respect that you give, and the positive energy. I appreciate all of you who have commented, who's, because I like conversation, I like engaging. Even though I teach, I do like seeing the comments and engaging, right? It does inspire me, right? I'm not above wanting and needing inspiration from time to time, right? Even though, yeah, I'm operating in one of my divine purposes. However, like I said, we are triune beings, right? People connection, being connection, human connection is important. Nothing in nature stands alone. I'm not above saying, I understand that we absolutely do need each other, because we are one, right? We are one. I'm not codependent on people, but I actually know and understand interdependency, right? We are one. We do need each other in a lot of facets, right? And so I appreciate infinitely all the love that you all have given me, right? Until next time, I am Venus, a goddess, and this is another episode in self mastery, all things self mastery. I am your host and educator, Venus Agata, and this is All Things Self Mastery show and podcast. For all of you who do not know, I am also streaming on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So if you ever want to educate yourself while you're driving, if you ever want to just listen to an inspirational word, a lot of the classes that many of you have missed over the years, even the months and the years, I'm beginning to start uploading all of those to the new podcast. And what I do ask is that you go over there and you just hit the subscribe button. It's absolutely free to subscribe. I don't charge for any of those, but it would absolutely help spread this message to more of us, right? And so I would appreciate your support, and you subscribing to my YouTube channel, All Things Self Mastery, my Spotify, and really Spotify. And you can also get to those by clicking the link in my bio. It only takes a second, probably not a second, but less than a minute. It takes less than a minute for you to exchange some positive interactions and energies, right? Remember, it's always an exchange of energies. You get what you give. And if it's like literally small things that you can do, I always encourage that. I do nothing that require nothing of you or ask nothing of you that I don't already do myself. So I would infinitely appreciate if you all would subscribe to my podcast channels, Spotify, and of course my YouTube to continually help us grow, because it's not just about me, it is about us. Right. So I love you so very much. Hi, Sylvia. How are you, my love? I will see you tomorrow, Sylvia, for All Things Self Mastery Book Club. Okay, this concludes this lesson. For those of you who are just coming in, you can catch the recap. I'm going to upload it once I finish editing on my YouTube channel. We spoke about reasons why you are powerless, so you can get it. Put the links in. All the links is in my link tree. My love, my YouTube channel is in my link tree. My Spotify handle is in my link tree, so you can get to those by visiting my link trees as All Things Self Mastery. If you can remember that, my YouTube, Spotify, podcasts, and channels are All Things Self Mastery. All Things Self Mastery, and they're also in my links. So until next time, I appreciate you and all the follows. Have an intentionally peaceful evening. Wait, let me close out YouTube.